Welcome back, Sherman and Wilbourn podcast.
Yes.
This is the third one.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm not supposed to. I don't need to wear these.
I'm taking those headphones off. Nah, you don't need the headphones on.
I can tell if we're sounding good.
Today's date is November 15th, 2012 to Thursday.
Indeed.
We are going into week number...
Can you get it this time? First time of the year?
11.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It feels like 12, but it's 11. It feels like 8, but it's 12.
Yeah, that's what? That's.
Okay, so we got some hot topics to talk about today. Yeah. The Bills just beat the Dolphins.
They did. Highlights, as far as fantasy goes, C.J. Spiller, 22 carries for 91 yards.
Any TDs? No TDs.
No touchdowns there. He had 3 catches for 39 yards, so he was a pretty solid fantasy play if you used him.
That is pretty good. You should use him.
Stevie Johnson, 6 catches for 79 yards.
That's all right.
Not too shabby.
That's not bad. What did
Scott Chandler did 2 catches for 30 yards. Hopefully you didn't get stuck with him. That's not too good.
Yeah, I was stuck with him.
Everybody else on Buffalo was poor.
Yeah,
Fitzpatrick, no touchdowns, 168 yards. Tannehill, 140 yards, touchdown, 2 picks, and hopefully you didn't.
Passer rating? What was passer rating?
46.9.
Yeah.
Daniel Thomas did nothing, 30 yards, 33 yards. Reggie Bush, 20 yards. That probably sucked for you. He had 15 yards receiving. Devon Best was probably the best option on the Dolphins. He had 50 yards and a touchdown on 6 catches. 11 targets, so that's kind of a sign of something.
Using him. They're using
him a lot. Brian Hartline had 7 targets, 4 catches, 49 yards. Nothing special.
Needless to say, the Dolphins don't have much of an offense. But
no, Reggie Bush, you probably started him, and you're probably upset about that right now. So I'm sorry. He's kind of went downhill this season. Or not this season. Early on, he was doing really well.
Yeah.
He's went downhill since, I don't know what week, but...
We got some players to hit on today.
Oh, we're gonna do the recap.
Oh, the recap. I don't want to know.
Last week's recap of
6-4 in both leagues, so I'm happy where I'm at.
We're gonna recap our picks on Pick'em and our picks on our over/unders and start better starts. Hold on, let me get my.
I had a bad week in Pick'em.
We both. Yeah, we can decide about that. All right, first off, our over/unders. We had 16 points for Cam Newton versus Denver. We both said under, and he had 13. So we're both geniuses. Thank you.
You're welcome.
13 points for Matt Forte. I won that one. Said under. He had 3 points.
He got shut down, and that was the difference, and that was the reason the Bears lost.
Yeah, he really didn't do much.
Foster Forte was a matchup. I said that last week. I thought Forte would do better. Foster did better, and they won that game.
You are correct about that. 75 rushing yards for Foster. We both were wrong. He went under. It was 102 yards.
Yeah.
We had 110 total yards for Doug Martin. We both went over, and he had 119 total yards. So nice day for Dougie. Teach me how to Martin. 75 rushing yards for the burner. We both said over. He had 15.
Oh my God. We will talk about him. I have him mentioned in something.
Yeah, we'll mention him a little bit later. 40-yard play for Mike Wallace. Evan won with that one. I said over. He hit 15 total yards, but he did have a sick touchdown catch.
Yeah, he did.
Probably the best of the year, I would say. That was pretty damn cool. But it was like 3 yards, so it wasn't, I don't know.
It was just like...
And then 1.5 touchdowns for Gronk. I won. I said under. He had 1. All right. Then we had our better start. Flacco or Dalton. I thought I won this. I didn't realize Flacco had such a good week. Dalton threw like 4 touchdowns. Flacco won. Evan won. But they both had a good week.
Of course, Joe Flacco's an elite quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Romo or Freeman. I believe you picked Freeman. I took Romo. They both had 16 points. So.
Wow. How about that?
That was a nice flea.
But who did I have? Romo?
You had Romo.
And the Cowboys won that game.
No, you had Freeman. You had Freeman.
I had Freeman for real. Okay.
So you lose. Oh, we both win, actually. Fred Jackson.
It's a tie.
Actually, I looked.
That sounds fair.
I actually looked. Freeman had like 3 yards more passing, so I guess you win.
Yeah.
Slightly, but not really.
Partially.
Fred Jackson or Spiller. We both actually went Spiller, and Fred Jackson had a beastly game, but then he got hurt like the last second, so it kind of ruined this, and he didn't play, which is CJ Spiller had a really good week, or a pretty good week so far.
Yeah.
Then we did Sean Green or Pierre Thomas. Evan went with Pierre Thomas. I won with Sean Green. He had 5 points. I win, but none. They both sucked.
They both sucked.
Pick'em, I went 7-5-1 because the fucking tie.
Yes, and I probably
and Evan went 7-5-1.
Let's see the matchups though. Let's see if there's any upsets in there.
I don't know. I didn't write that down. I know that I picked the Texans. You picked the Bears. That's where we were different.
Yes.
I picked the Chargers. You picked the Bucks. That's where we were different. We picked a lot of the same.
I love pickup.
I picked the Falcons, despite that I wanted to pick the Saints. And
Saints beat the Falcons, and I called that.
And I wanted to call it, but I just couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
So we both. I mean, 7-5-1. We were more right than wrong, but you should be able to pick a little bit better.
Yes.
We're not picking against the spread.
I've gone like 13-2 in weeks before.
Yeah.
But those were like easy weeks probably, and then maybe like one or two upsets in there. But
all right.
So what are we?
By the way, we're without our producer today.
There's an empty chair over there.
Empty chair. We won't be able to have any great news from him about Jeff Rogers and Jason Witten.
No Jason.
And it's, I feel like it's hard to do this on my own. I feel like my back's hurting sitting like this.
We are professionals. We do not complain.
Yeah, I feel great.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm fucking my microphone up. All right.
Fuck your microphone.
All right, so we start off with our random mofos section.
Yes, our random mofos.
Whoop! Because that's yeah. All right. First random mofo. It's Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, dickbag Matt Ryan. I hate him. I hate Matt Ryan. I hate a lot of.
He's having an MVP quality year.
I think I hate quarterbacks that are good because I'm a fan of Aaron Rodgers and I want him to win MVP every year, and him to be considered the best. Okay. Not that anybody would. Nobody would argue Ryan's a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. Not right now, but he's made his way into probably top 5 talk.
He has
around there.
Matt Ryan's a good young quarterback. The problem with Matt Ryan is I can't buy into Matt Ryan.
He's a total dick. That's one of his problems. Actually, he's a really nice guy. I hate him, but then I see him do interviews and I'm like, damn it, why is he? He's like, there's nothing wrong with him. And he's just good and he talks and he says all the right things.
He's not a winner. When it matters.
I remember when Aaron Rodgers killed him in the playoffs.
It was very disappointing.
It was awesome. And Tramon Williams killed him as well.
Skip Bayless was said the nickname Matty Ice went bye-bye as soon as he lost that game.
It's a pretty bad nickname for
a guy who loses in the playoffs. I mean, he got killed last year. His coaching is a choke job. Problem with them is they're so regular season built. He has so much talent around it. But that being said, you have to love him if you have Matt Ryan on your fantasy team because Michael Turner, he's been sucking the long schlong. You put in...
Yeah, it's pretty long, too.
It is very long. It's like as long as mine and Tony's.
Whoa.
Tony's is really long.
It's not quite as long as mine, though.
Okay.
Just kidding.
We need Jeff Aquino in here. Jeff, if you're listening, which you're probably not, we need you to record some stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, Matt Ryan, I wrote a couple stats down.
Fantasy-wise, he's a beast.
He's a beast. 2,771 yards. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, he's going to get 4,800.
68 completion percentage.
68%.
Damn.
4.4, yes.
Yeah, you've got that 0.4. 20 TDs to 7 picks. Pretty solid.
I will say he'll finish with 34 and 11. And that's all-pro type numbers.
I feel like he's been a pleasant surprise this year.
Completion percentage.
He probably drafted Matt Ryan probably outside the top 10, maybe towards the...
the second, third round. But he's,
nobody's drafting Matt Ryan in the second, third round.
Okay, second round.
No. Matt Ryan was he was 8th round. It was Romo was higher than him, and
Matt Ryan was low.
Matt Ryan was lower than you're thinking. You're probably thinking that now because that's what he probably should have been.
He should have been then. Yeah, I don't remember.
It's hard. Yeah, I remember the draft. He probably went 8th, 9th, 10th round. You never know. People already had their starting quarterback. They weren't thinking Matt Ryan was the way to go.
Needless to say, we look at the 2008 draft class and we see two respectable quarterbacks that came out of it that kind of came out of nowhere.
Hold on, before we get to that, I want a couple last things about Matt Ryan.
Go for it.
I think he's got a pretty nice schedule ahead of him. Tell me if you agree. He's got Tampa Bay twice.
Yes.
That's
bad defense.
New Orleans.
Bad defense, but they did okay.
Carolina.
Yeah.
New York Giants, Lions, and Cardinals.
Yeah,
that's not in order.
Not many. Not many good Cardinals this week, right?
But I also think that there's a good chance Matt Ryan will not be playing the last week or two,
and then they'll lose in the first round.
And if he's on your fantasy team, you might want to prepare for
a very
fantasy playoffs. He might not be there. He might be playing one quarter in the last game of the season or none.
And if you're a Falcons fan, which probably none of our listeners are, you better hope they are ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to be losing.
Because they'll probably lose. But this other quarterback is a winner.
2008 quarterbacks? Is that what we're talking?
Yes, we were talking about another quarterback
from
Who's
that
a winner?
draft. Straight out winner.
He's a winner.
I wouldn't call him a winner. I'd call him a fucker.
He's a winner. He's a winner.
Joe Flacco. Playing Pittsburgh this week.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear some good stats?
Remember last year? Hold on 1 second. Remember you know what's so great about last year? Man, I just watched this quarterback that everyone calls bad, and he's so cool in the pocket, and he's so tall.
Joe Cool. What is he?
He is like the tallest quarterback in the NFL. It's ridiculous. The dude's like 6'8".
How tall is he?
He's 6'6" and change. Yes. Why? And he stands like he's 7 feet tall. I bet you if he walked in the room, I'd look up and be like, "What's up, Joe?" And he'd just be like, "Hey," you know.
Hey,
and, everyone's like, "Oh, I got this great defense." Really? Because you don't have Ray Lewis anymore.
Well, yes.
But last year he led them down the field in Pittsburgh.
Okay, last year, but that's not.
Remember? Okay, listen.
Stephen A.
Okay, no skips. I know you have a skip like. By the way, we will mention Skip Bayless later in the show, later at the end. We will. There's a reason for it, and you all have an idea. If you're listening right now, you might as well just scroll on your YouTube page, go to the end, and listen to what we'll talk about, because that is what the show is all about.
No, please, no. Listen to now. That's like the worst part of the show. Joe
Flacco is a winner. Okay, let's just go through his 2008.
If you're a winner, it doesn't matter in fantasy. You can lose.
Of course not. I'm going to a point of saying Joe Flacco is a winner. He led them down the field in Pittsburgh last year and won the game. He outdueled the first, second, or third greatest quarterback in all time in Tom Brady in the AFC title game.
Yeah, he did.
And I got news for you. Ravens play the Giants in the Super Bowl. Okay, I don't know, but
I hope not. Jesus, that would be like the worst Super Bowl. I hate them both.
They're kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't really hate the Ravens.
Joe Flacco, fantasy-wise, he's like the best fantasy backup. But if you're starting him, you better find a different
He's a fantasy backup because here's some stats I'm about to lay on y'all. What are you doing?
Go for it. Get a drink of water.
Oh, drink of water for Evan.
Professional. Do not say what I'm doing.
All right, here's my stats. You got to react to them. Let me know what you think about this. All right. Whoa! What the hell? Okay, yeah, here they are. Get over there. Get in your seat. All right, he's got on the season 60% completion, 13 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's like Jay Cutler numbers.
60% completion.
And those guys are winners.
Okay, that's not. Just shut up. All right, Steelers, who he's playing this week, are only allowing 11 points per game for his quarterbacks, which is it was like the third best. It's pretty horrible.
I'm not saying start him. I'm just saying he's the quarterback.
And here's a real reason. Here's something that I thought stood out. At home, he's got 108.3 passer rating, 66% completions, 10 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. He is good on that turf.
He's
good at home.
He is really good on play action.
At home this week. And away, he's got a 62.7 passer rating, a 52.2 completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. He's horrible on the road, apparently. This season, he's been horrible on the road. But he's not going to win this week.
He's won like 6 playoff. The dude has won like 6 playoff games in his young career, and he's not Mark Sanchez either. He plays good in these games.
He's a little bit.
He's so good on play action. You ever see him like drop back on that big ass logo they have in Baltimore and just throw it every week? I'm watching like a Baltimore like a highlights of like the noon game. Baltimore's playing some shitty team, and they always show him like deep bombing it to like Dennis.
He throws it deep,
but like Torrey Smith. If he's not checking it down, he's throwing it deep, and he is the best check down passer in the NFL.
Okay, yeah, that's an accomplishment. Chad Pennington.
But unlike Chad Pennington, he has an arm.
Okay.
We will get off to Joe Flacco. Let's go to some RBs.
Let's get some RBs. I'll get the curly fries, and I will get the beef and cheddar. What are you getting?
I don't even know anything on their menu. I don't go to Arby's.
Get some curly fries.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. First running back Matt Forte playing at San Francisco this week.
Yes, but there may not be no Cutlet.
There may not.
However,
it's undecided.
I don't know. I'm a little worried. San Francisco's defense is incredible. Listen, Matt Forte is Matt Forte, but honestly, I may consider benching him this week. Because I don't know if the Bears are going to do anything on offense.
From what I've looked at, San Francisco's
have to carry him another week.
San Francisco's only allowing 9.8 points per game to running backs in fantasy. That's the best in the league. And I still think Michael Bush, he's healthy and all right. Is he not?
Yeah, but he's not a vulture the way we expect him.
He kind of is. You know, I've seen it. I remember that one game where he took like 2 in the first quarter. It was just they got down close.
That was the first game of the year, though.
Was it?
Yes.
I still think he's there, and I still think that's something he might like when they're inside the 5-yard line. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in Michael Bush. like real close to the goal line.
Yeah, you might want to
Maybe
punish
inside
it.
the like at the 10. I think Forte's still in, but if they get really close, I think it'll be Bush. I'm not positive. Campbell might be there. And the only reason that might help Forte is because he might have to dump off more to Forte.
Oh,
than
yeah.
Cutler would.
Honestly, dumping off is what he should have been doing the whole second half. But he was so bad at it. Jason Campbell I hope to God Cutler plays. Because the Bears have no chance if he doesn't.
I mean, Campbell's one of the better backups of the league, but he's still a backup.
Yeah, therefore, he's a backup. You know, like Tim Tebow,
He lost his
he's a
starting
backup.
job to Carson. Well, not kind of. It was weird. He got hurt, and then Carson, they decided that he's worth 2 first-round picks.
That's because the Raiders are
when
stupid.
he's 35, no, he's not that old, but when he's
close to
I don't
it.
know,
He's 33.
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. Even though I'm a fan of Carson Palmer, and he's actually a pretty good fantasy quarterback.
Yeah, if you need Carson Palmer, go get
He's
him.
I'd say he's like a top 10 almost. Like he's kind of like around 10.
A lot of yards.
Like
Does he have a receiver we're going to be talking about today too? Doesn't he?
He does, but that will be right after we talk about my boy. He's not really my boy at all. Law firm.
Yeah,
Ben
Law
Jarvis
firm
Green
hasn't he been
Ellis.
averaging like 3.8
Playing
yards a carry.
at Kansas City.
Yeah, I'd start him.
Yeah, the Chiefs are allowing 18 points a game to opposing running backs. That's pretty fucking horrible
That
as
is
far as I can think of.
It's not good at all.
But the thing about him, he's averaging.
You won't be able to see Cotton.
He's got 3.4 yards a carry and only 3 touchdowns. And he's not a part of the passing game. He's got 12 catches. I don't know. I mean, Chiefs blow, but I mean, it's probably the best week to start him.
Any coincidental that he leaves New England? And he ends up having
New England
no success.
is good with running
New England's
backs.
just good with everything.
Weird, yeah.
They're like good with everything. You're on the Patriots.
You're good.
Julian Edelman plays in the NFL, which is why Jordan Lynch should be the NIU quarterback. Should become a wide receiver and get drafted by the Patriots or sign the Patriots.
He'd be like the best. He'd be all of a sudden great.
He'd be like a good slot receiver. They utilize
the guy's a
well.
beast, dude. Jordan Lynch, ridiculous.
Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, ridiculous if you drafted him way too soon. I got rid of him and got Malcolm Floyd. I'm glad I did that trade.
See, I haven't been able to make any trades this year, but that is a pretty solid trade because he's done nothing, and now I'm getting trade offers for me to take him, and I'm like, there's he adds no value. I have enough better running backs where it's like, he just sucked. Like, there's no upside in him, I feel like. Like, what's he going to do? Run for 30 yards and catch a ball for 4 yards? Like,
yeah,
great.
You know, they throw the ball a good amount, too, it seems like, in Cincinnati. I mean, they got a great wide receiver. They got a good young quarterback. Oh, wow.
Are you talking about Matt Castle? Matt Castle is.
I got my Midwest cities mixed up.
They do have a good receiver in Dwayne Bowe, but you weren't talking about that.
Andy Dalton and AJ Green.
AJ Green's probably the best in the league.
However, if you're facing Kansas City, you can throw on them and you can run on them too.
So we'll see what they do. It'll be like
because they suck.
It'll be AJ Green dominating, and it'll be maybe I don't know. I feel like he's just not even a part of their offense. I don't know. He just doesn't do anything. He's been a disappointment to say the least.
Denarius Moore, Oakland Raiders.
Yes, Denarius Moore.
He's been surprisingly good.
He's been surprisingly good, and I dropped him early. I think I dropped him possibly before the season started, I think it was. And I picked, or no, it must have been after the season started, but I dropped him for Danny Amendola. It was probably like week 3. Yeah, it was like September 19th. I looked it up. Yeah, it's like week 2, week 3-ish. I don't know, probably week 2. But I dropped him for Danny Amendola, which is actually not too shabby.
Danny Amendola had,
we're going to talk about.
He had a game where he caught a lot of balls. Didn't he?
Yeah, he had 15 catches in the game. He had 11. Didn't he have 11 yesterday or this week? I mean, I think he did.
I think he had a good.
100 yards, 11 catches or something. Get your foot off there. Get out of here.
Comfortable.
But Denarius Moore, he's actually been really good, and I'm kind of pissed I dropped him because he's been.
You said Steve Johnson may be a terrorist. I'm thinking Denarius Moore is. Where did this guy come from?
He's kind of in the same terrorist boat, He might. That's why I dropped him. I was like, is he the number one? Is Hayward Bay gonna emerge? Jacoby Ford is like one of these guys the number one? I don't even know. I was like,
what about TJ Houshmandzadeh? I'm just kidding. The Raiders might as well have him. They suck.
Houshmandzadeh.
Remember when TJ Houshmandzadeh used to be a really good fantasy player back in like 07?
He did, and Ocho Cinco did too.
The Bengals were. You see, that's the Carson Palmer effect.
And Carson Palmer is still a pretty good fantasy player, and Denarius Morris took that up. And I mean, he's their number one option on a your team where they're losing by 50 and they throw every play.
To throw. You have to throw on that team.
The only problem is that they'll be down by so much.
Your running back you're invested in is always hurt.
Yeah, I mean, they had McFadden, and he was probably going to... I mean, we thought he was going to have a good year, but now he's hurt. And
he's in the last year of his contract, too. I want to say 5-year deal.
Yeah, he might be going somewhere. We'll see. But Demarius Moore's pretty good. Like, I don't know how far high up I'd put him as far as it goes. I'd probably put him, like... I think on ESPN, right, this week he's ranked, like, 7th. I would probably go more like 13, 14. I don't think he's that good. But
it depends.
But Carson Palmer throws the ball a ton. He's good. So
Calvin Johnson's probably number 1 this week, right? Going against an awful secondary. So
hey, man, shut up.
A lot of yards in that line.
All right, so we can.
Game's gonna be like
we got. Who do you want to talk about next? It's either Randall Cobb or Danny Amendola, and then we'll,
Let's go with Danny Amendola.
All right, we'll start off with him. He was hurt. And he came back pretty fast, and he had a good game.
Messed up his arm, right?
Yeah, but I think he's fine now. He looked pretty damn good. He almost won the game for him. Yeah. 80-yard catch that was
didn't look like neither team wanted to win based on that overtime.
Yeah, it was a nice tie.
That was a really awful game, and I hate ties.
I found
socialists.
Due to Deadspin, I found out there was like at least 2 players that didn't know that you could tie. I know like Sean Goldson was like, I don't know why everybody was leaving. He's like, why is everybody leaving?
We're gonna play double overtime.
Yeah, it's like
we
Donovan McNabb, and then actually Danny Amendola. He was the other guy that didn't know that you could end in overtime. He didn't. I read that.
Because it's so stupid.
You shouldn't be able to, because because that was like the extra. What do they call it when the bonus footage? What does the fuck they call it on Fox when the game's over and they
that little extra footage shit that
bonus,
they show, like
whatever bonus coverage.
Kurt Menefee here, like Kurt Menefee.
We're going to bonus coverage with
that really exciting
tie game coming.
Guy,
But he's playing the Jets this week.
Howie, I did not know that game could end in a tie. Howie, that was not funny. Not funny.
Okay, all right. Was
that all right? Yeah.
That was decent.
Terry.
Oh God! All right, you're done.
Terry Bradshaw.
All right, Terry Bradshaw. Everybody.
Jimmy.
All right, you're done. You're done. Okay. You're done. All right, so he's. I think he's like a top 12 guy in PPR, Danny Amendola, because he's like Wes Welker.
He kind of is, only way shittier team.
Yeah,
offensively,
and
especially.
Like a standard league, he's not because I don't think he scores touchdowns. I think he's like 20th.
I advise starting Danny Amendola and any guy in a PPR league.
I wish I started him last week.
Start him over Earl Bennett if you know where we're going. Weren't we going to talk about someone having a girlfriend?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I should talk about this or not, but
I think it's
we're in a league and. Girls can play fantasy football. Girls can know sports. That's fine. That's great.
It's a turn on.
But when one of your friends has a girlfriend and she really doesn't know anything about football,
she wants to be in a league really
she's not really sure what a running back is. She's not too sure what a wide receiver is, and that makes it a little harder to play fantasy football. I'm just kidding. Well, no, it does, but I'm not really trying to be mean or anything, but she just doesn't really know all that much about football, but we let her in the league. It's fine, I thought, because I mean, you can kind of just plug in people. You can just, when you're playing, you can just plug in people, but you got to pay attention to your team.
You got to pay attention.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing that I'm a little upset about is that
it helps other teams though.
It helps, but I'd rather have a little more competitive of a league. And I'll just say that
my league is extraordinary.
I just don't think you need to have... Okay, okay, great. I just don't think Brandon Jacobs needs to be on any teams, and he might be still sitting there.
How many carries does Brandon Jacobs have this year?
He's gotten up to 0 so far.
Okay.
I mean,
0.
He's racked them up,
Yeah.
I just think, like I understand that some people just don't know fantasy. This is more directed towards people who just...
Don't know
fantasy football. It has nothing to do with girls and nothing to do with anything.
Listen to maybe she listened to
take
our podcast.
Some interest.
She would get some good knowledge.
Yeah. Just take some interest into fantasy. Like if you're gonna be doing it, especially like if you're doing it for some money or something.
Yeah, money.
You might as well put a little invested interest. in it. Just do a little bit of research. Realize that Brandon Jacobs. Like I understand you don't know football. Like if you're just anybody who just doesn't really pay that much attention. There's,
Look at
it's
the
not
fact
hard
that
to
every
tell
single
that
week
somebody's
it's a 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Yeah, and just dump them and grab the best. Like you can just kind of just look at that. Like it's not good if you're just looking at the numbers.
Grab
but
a
you
guy
can
whose
do
name
that,
you like.
and it'll make you better. Yeah.
If he plays, he's
Brandon
gonna be
Jacobs
better
is a
than
pretty
Jacobs.
boring name. It's like
it's very generic.
I guess
Cecil Shorts, exciting.
Cecil Shorts, like
It's exciting.
If I start rapping, I might call myself Cecil Shorts. Welcome to the Cecil Shorts show. I got a Cecil. Okay, I got a sizzle with my Cecil Shorts.
I mean, Andrew Corliss. That's a cool name. Corliss.
Okay, I wouldn't really recommend
Corliss?
picking him up.
You don't want to. He does. He has probably more fantasy points than Brandon Jacobs does.
Oh, I'm sure he does. Actually, no. Actually, I think he might be hurt all year so far. So, but. Another thing, don't keep players on the injured reserve on your bench.
Yeah.
You just got to know little things like that. This is not at all to offend anybody. It's just...
Santonio Holmes should be not on your bench or your starting lineup. Then again, I wouldn't start San Antonio Holmes anyways because he has a terrible... Not just a terrible quarterback, but a terrible human being throwing.
Yes, Mark Sanchez is... He's one of the meanest people.
We have never gotten into my hatred of Mark Sanchez, almost because he's so bad it's not worth mentioning. My hatred of Phillip Rivers has been mentioned plenty of times. My hatred for Mark Sanchez has not. But you know what I was thinking of just earlier?
What's that?
How funny would it be if there was a guy in a fantasy league who just went by how his bench did?
How's that go?
Like, just like every week he's like, man, I lost, I'm 0-4. Like, after, going in October, I'm 0-4, but my bench, man, is 3-1. Or they tell someone, I'm 6-2. No, you're not. You're 3-5. No, well, I'm talking about my bench.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers has been on your bench all year. Yeah, you see the productivity he has? There's a reason why I'm putting freaking Russell Wilson in at quarterback.
Yeah, he puts his bye week guys in.
Ray Rice, he belongs on my bench. Donald Brown, I'm starting him.
I'd like to play in a league with a guy like that. That would be
pretty cool.
That would be
hilarious. It'd be great trolling.
He might be the worst team in the league, but
it's almost as fun as
by the bench.
It's almost as fun as doing those mock drafts when you're like in 2 a.m. when you're like drunk or bored.
We did a pretty good mock draft.
Yeah, and you just like
we did an auction draft where we
you just keep auctioning Tebow.
Yeah, we kept bidding on Tebow.
And the people take it so seriously, and then they realize. Then you tell them
the whole time,
hey, this isn't real.
Like right into the draft, like we did just a mock draft before the season.
Well, I was trying to prepare my strategy.
We what's it called? We nominated Tebow, and me and him just went $1 at a time and ran out the clock, and everybody was like, "This made my week." People were actually pretty funny.
They enjoyed it. Other people were
some people were like, "This ruins my mock draft."
Yeah.
Which I mean, I guess.
First off, why would you be doing an auction league? Giving advice. Why would you do an auction league? That is the worst type. Yeah, I'm going to invest $50 on Arian Foster or whatever. Little stupid fake money. I hate snake drafts are the way to go. They're the most even. They're the most fair.
Yeah, I guess so. I agree with that.
Whatever player we're going to hit on, we're done with Danny Amendola.
Hold on 1 second. We're going to have a quick word from our sponsor, and then we'll continue our segment.
This winter, somebody told me it was going to get cold. And your nice car won't be so hot. Jackson's antifreeze warms your body.
Okay, welcome back.
Oh no!
Overreaction once again.
Overreaction.
Okay, Randall Cobb we're going to talk about.
Yes. We will. Hold on. Let me get ready, because when I talk about Randall Cobb, I got to be real ready.
I'm pretty ready. I think, okay, to put my opinion in there, listen. Everyone talks about messing with the sound once again.
Yes.
We miss our producer, by the way.
Yeah,
Everyone talks about
the
Saints and the Patriots and Packers having a lot of receivers. But look at the fact that Randall Cobb's a good option because Jordy Nelson and Greg Jennings have been hurt a lot lately. Greg Jennings has been hurt most of the year. Yeah, Jordy Nelson, who he's questionable, I'm going to put him in my lineup because I know if he plays, Detroit's secondary blows, and that's going to be like a shootout. Yeah, he's pretty good. Randall Cobb, though, he's pretty good, too.
He is. Yes, hold on. All right. Randall Cobb, I think he's a complete beast. He's got the second highest percentage of catches of his targets. Like, he catches a high percentage of what he's thrown to him.
They're all like little quick passes.
Yeah, he does that. Yeah, he gets the quick passes, and he's just got good hands and all that. And I feel like, Randall Cobb can do everything. That's why Randall Cobb's a beast. He literally can pass.
Yeah, I know.
He was a quarterback in college.
Yeah.
He's only I think he's at one pass in his career so far, but I bet he passes before the year ends on some stupid trick play. He runs the ball. He's got 6 carries for 98 yards this year, which is not a lot of carries, but every single time he carries it, he gets at least 15 yards.
Yeah. You're out of the backfield.
If they used him a little bit more, because every and his long was 28, so it's not like he had an 80-yarder. Every time he's just done it well.
Yeah.
So I feel like they should try him a little more there. He's kind of like Percy Harvin, because Percy Harvin can run the ball, catch the ball, a little quick, fast guy, returns the ball.
Yeah, he is a lot like Percy Harvin.
He's not really like a poor man's Percy Harvin. He might not be as good, but he's still good. He's close, and I think he can be that good. He's got 6 touchdowns in his last 5 games. Right now, he's probably maybe the best receiver on the Packers. I don't know. I mean, with Jordy if Jordy's out, then he is the best.
Yeah.
But
just take the headphones off, personally.
Yeah. All right, it's good now.
Okay. Well, Jordy Nelson's a Q, but no Greg Jennings. You don't really have many options. Receiving wise, James Jones, yes, but James Jones. Looking at statistics, we're gonna edit that.
No, he won't.
9999989.
You don't know what I was gonna say.
You know what I was gonna say.
All right, go on. What were you saying?
8 touchdowns, only 400 yards receiving though.
Yeah, Randall Cobb's got. I think Randall Cobb has exactly 500 yards right now through 9 games, so he's not quite on pace for 1,000 yards. But I would not be surprised if he gets 1,000 yards. I would not be surprised if Jordy gets 1,000 yards. I'd probably be a little surprised if James Jones
Still,
does.
though, Randall Cobb, he's dynamic. Fantasy-wise, if you see see on Sunday morning, you look and you see Jordy Nelson, you better have Randall Cobb in your starting lineup.
Which means out for those that aren't too well versed in the fantasy world.
Yes.
But, yes, then you got to start him. 2 weeks ago, I fucking had Randall Cobb in a minute before the game. I'm like, Jordy's playing. Gotta use him, he's just bigger, and Aaron throws to him so much. And I put him in, and then he gets hurt, and the first play and the next play, I think, or 2 plays after, Randall Cobb scores a touchdown. I was like, fuck fantasy. And then later in the game, he had a 30-yard touchdown. I was like, I hate you. I love you, Randall Cobb, but come on, why did I do this? What's wrong with me? He's just shifty. He's one of the best in the open field. He's a return man. He's got all that jazz. He's a beast. And you'd be lucky to have him. And he's somebody you picked up this year. It's not somebody you drafted.
Yeah, it's good pickup. Vernon Davis, though, someone you drafted who hasn't been that great.
No. Actually, here's the thing. He's got no touchdowns since week 3. That's a big drought. And then, there's people... He's like Jermichael Finley, I feel like, and he's still ranked a little higher. On
Deadspin, the guy who writes the Thursday, Drew McGarry or whatever his name is, he basically ripped the crap out of Vernon Davis just as a poor fantasy performer, which is why we kind of brought him in here.
I listened to the Fantasy Focus football podcast with Matthew Berry, Nate Ravitz, and Pod Vader. I don't think you really listen to that, but I do.
I don't.
I love it, and Matthew Berry early in the year was saying Vernon Davis is completely reliant. His fantasy value is based on his touchdowns, which it pretty much is. Besides that, he doesn't really rack up the yards.
No, because they do quick passes, run the ball a lot, and then Vernon Davis is their go-to end zone target.
I agree with that, and he's not getting touchdowns.
No, he's not.
He's got 3. I think he had he scored in the first 3 weeks. He had 2, 1, and 1 in some order, and he hasn't scored since. And he hasn't done well. He had 100-yard game, which is pretty nice. But besides that, it's been 50 or less, probably, for the most part.
Let's go to Stardom Sit-em.
Stardom!
Sit-em.
All right, let's see what you've got for us this week. I will do a little commenting on your things and tell you if I agree or not or whatnot. I'll just bring in my little...
psychology notes out of there. I'm going to start Tony Romo this week. He's facing Cleveland.
Okay.
They suck. Start Tony Romo. Listen, Tony Romo, in November, he's pretty good in that month. It's December that scares me, but he's pretty good in November. He has a good November track.
I'm not a guy that likes to think that a player plays better in a certain month, but it does seem to work out that way sometimes. But I always feel like it's hard to think that, like I don't do math better in fucking June. Like I'm pretty much
do math
consistent.
better ever. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's a weird stat, but sometimes it just seems to happen. Like, you'll hear it, and then it just fucking happens. You're like,
it's
why?
comfort. You know, he has that Thanksgiving home game. They always have 2 home games.
It's weird, and I don't like to believe it, but I kind of have to lately. And
the Sunday before Thanksgiving, they're always at home. It's a comfort zone. I'd also start Andy Dalton, because listen, Eli Manning's on a bye. How about you start Andy Dalton over Eli Manning? Because Andy Dalton did way better last week than Eli Manning did.
Eli Manning's been terrible.
He has been bad.
As of very recent, he's been awful.
Andy Dalton also has A.J. Green to throw the ball. And just listen, Kansas City, I mean, I know they're facing the Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger got hurt. Kansas City is capable of giving up a lot of points.
Yeah.
Big plays, A.J. Green on the outside. Andy Dalton's a serviceable fantasy quarterback. I would start him if you have, like, an Eli Manning.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'd sit Phillip Rivers. I just sense a really bad week coming. Denver seems to have his number. I don't know how often it is, but it just seems. I just look at them going to Denver. I look at how last week looked. There's just a debacle. Phillip Rivers, when he turns the ball over, just consistently turns it over. Like he'll turn if he's destined to have. If he has a turnover, he's going to have at least a few more. Like what I mean is, in the games he turns the ball over, he turns them over in bunches.
He does. Yeah.
I would start Stephen Ridley. Yeah, why not?
I mean, I agree. He's been good this year. Who they play? They play somebody bad, aren't they?
They are playing someone. No, they're not playing someone bad at all. They're actually playing the Colts. Don't really trust the Colts' run defense, though. I mean, they're an all right defense, but I feel like, honestly, it's going to come down to... It's one of those games that's come down to time of possession. I just feel like Stephen Ridley, he's going to get some good touches. Now, it's Belichick. He may not use them.
Yeah, Belichick's weird.
Belichick's really weird. I would sit Trent Richardson going up against Jay Ratliff. Look, they did pretty good with Sean McCoy. Trent Richardson gets like 3.5 yards a carry. He's been hurt. He's coming back. Don't trust him. I would sit him, and I would also sit Michael Turner. I mean, Atlanta, Carolina. If you have 15 yards and 10 carries, I just don't trust them. I'm sitting Michael Turner this week.
But he burns, man.
He's no longer who he used to be.
I don't even know why his nickname was really Turner the Burner, because he really never had speed. But
no, he just bulldozed guys. I would start
Turner the Bulldozer.
I would start. I only have one wide receiver to say is start. I would say Eric Decker. I think Eric Decker's going to have a good, nice week against San Diego. I just think the Broncos are going to kill Chargers, and I think Eric Decker will be a key part. I would sit Torrey Smith going up against Pittsburgh secondary. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. I don't think Torrey Smith's going to get many points. And I'd also sit Jeremy Maclin. Nick Foles throwing the ball, I don't trust even Deshaun Jackson. I don't trust any Eagle, period, besides LaShawn McCoy in fantasy, which is why I'm sitting Brent Selleck. Why would you start Brent Selleck? I don't know. Maybe you have Kyle Rudolph on your team.
What's wrong with Kyle Rudolph?
He's on a bye week.
Oh.
By the way, Adrian Peterson is on a bye week too, and I would strongly advise finding someone to replace him.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard. If you have Adrian Peterson on your team, it's going to suck.
I don't really know.
That's a guy's a beast. And we will get into that later on. We will talk about our mid-season awards, post-mid-season awards.
About right now, I think.
No, I got a couple more starts.
Okay, after this, yes.
I would start Jermichael Finley at tight end. Listen, Jermichael, it's time to be a big boy
I'm liking this.
It's time to be a big boy. You may not have Greg. You're not going to have Greg Jennings. You may not have Jordy Nelson. Listen, over the middle, Rodgers may need someone to throw to. Why not you, Jermichael Finley? Why not be this week?
I think this might be the week. I think this. I'm calling it this week. Touchdown for Jermichael Finley and at least 80 yards.
I would start the New Orleans Saints defense. Look how they did last week on the goal line against the Falcons. They're playing Carolina, who just never seems to be consistent.
That Righty blows, man.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I'd sit the Packers defense because I think they have too many injuries, and Matthew Stafford's going to throw for a shit ton of yards. I would start Justin Tucker of the Baltimore Ravens. I know kicking in Pittsburgh's tough, but you got to do what you got to do. And I would sit. I haven't really decided on a kicker to sit. I'm looking at Houston and
Shane Graham. I think.
Shane Graham. Listen, Houston. I feel bad because I don't recognize Houston's kicker, but it is Shane Graham, and they're playing Jacksonville. They may score a lot more touchdowns, which means it's gonna be like 6 extra points. And I can see on every single drive they're scoring a touchdown. It's just one of those at will scoring a touchdown.
I could. That's the worst. That's like number 1 team versus number 32 team.
In many ways, that I think that is, yeah.
That's pretty
much a deadlock.
But the thing about, I expect
spread.
the Tex. It's like a 16-point spread. I think even it's pretty crazy.
And I would take Houston.
And I would take, I would. But the NFL's so weird. It just wouldn't shock me if there was a close game. Like Kansas
City Pittsburgh was close.
Yeah, I could just see that. Just happens for no reason.
I can't wait till buys are over because it makes it so hard to do a start and sit 'em when there's guys on New York that like Ahmad Bradshaw, you could easily start him, sit him. He's out. Marshawn Lynch, Adrian Peterson. You got to find guys to replace those two. Those are good fantasy players.
Oh, they are.
We got injuries to kid on though, don't we? There's some big injuries in the NFL.
There were. Well, we're hitting on the pretty much a quarterback death thing happened.
Well, listen, if you have you need to replace Ben Roethlisberger. That's another thing. Replace him with like a Tony Romo.
Yeah,
I've seen rosters with Roethlisberger and Romo. Start Romo this week. That's an easy solution.
Four fantasy quarterbacks got hurt, and only probably 2 of them might have been your starter. Cutler got hurt. You probably weren't starting him.
No,
maybe he's decent, but his backup if he's not able to play is Campbell. Alex Smith got hurt. You probably weren't starting him. I think,
but he's going to play.
He's already going to play.
Alex Smith is probable. He will play. Kaepernick would be good
option
because he's already in a lot of plays to begin with, and he's diverse.
Yeah, he is. And then Roethlisberger, you could have had as your starter, I feel, and he'll be replaced by Leftwich. He's out. He might die or something from his injury. It could he's not going to die, but if he played,
it's a very harsh injury. And then Michael Vick he may not take the field the rest of the year. Yeah, and you should have dumped Michael Vick a while ago.
He might not be in Philadelphia next year.
No, he's just Michael Vick's.
And I don't know why there's hype about Nick Foles. Who the fuck is Nick Foles?
I don't know. I know Ben Folds did that stupid song.
Ben Folds 5, man.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Ben Folds 5.
I'm not really either, but he's a guy.
Yeah, man, bro. Ben Folds 5. Ben Folds, whatever.
Ben Folds. Does he fold them or do multiple Bens fold 5?
Yeah, I'm wondering. 5 Bens fold.
I think that's it.
Yeah. And
whoa. Are we going?
Ow.
What were you going to say, McFadden? Or what were you going to say?
Darren McFadden is most likely not going to play.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
I didn't lose a tooth, but that was scary.
I feel like he's such a talented guy.
Jordy Nelson's questionable. If he plays, start him.
Yeah, and if McFadden, is he out? I don't even know if
he's out. I don't think
if he did play, I don't even know. Maybe you don't even start him because he might not get many carries.
Well, that's the injury report. What's next?
I think we will do our it's our fantasy MVP and our NFL regular season MVP.
Okay.
So first, what do you think we should do first, actually?
Fantasy MVP.
All right, who's your fantasy MVP so far?
I'm gonna have to go. It's between 2 guys, Adrian Peterson, Peyton Manning, and I know Peyton Manning's only 6th in points, but for my personal team, I have Peyton Manning in both my leagues, and I drafted Peyton Manning in the 6th round. And yeah, I'll get criticism because I took Eli early, but listen, it worked out because Eli's been bad.
He at least had one,
and Peyton has been good. And my team's already pretty good to begin with. I'm 3rd best in the league, and it's one of those leagues where it's like 1st and 2nd or 1st and 2nd. Then I'm 3rd. Then there's 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's 3 teams who just completely suck.
I think I'm that 7th.
Yes, you are the 7th. I am the 3rd.
Sadly. Okay, stop kicking around my mic.
Yes, your teams have been buried. We will go to that later. There will be a ceremony.
Stop kicking my box, bro.
Okay, a little tension on the air.
Kicking my box, man.
I got loose feet, apparently.
You got very loose feet.
I'd go Peyton Manning, though. Listen, consistently, week after week, guy just scores me points.
I will go with the guy he mentioned, Adrian Peterson. Peyton Manning is a good option. There's the guys like Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, RG3 could be a guy. As far as Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers, you draft him in the 1st round, you expected him to be good.
Yes, Aaron Rodgers was the number 1 pick in most.
Adrian Peterson and Peyton Manning were drafted later due to injury.
Yes.
And they both
Adrian Peterson
went
was the
back
number 1 pick from 2008 to 2011.
Now, and then all of a sudden he's in the 3rd round or whatnot, 25th
and he will be back to number 1 pick next year.
Oh, hell yeah. The guy's been he's already got over 1,000 yards. He's this might be his best season in his career.
And his knee is not even fully healed yet.
Yeah, probably not.
The guy's a freak. Peyton Manning's a freak too, but different type of freak, which is why he's just a regular season MVP. Who's your regular season MVP?
And Adrian Peterson's got like big thighs or something.
Yeah. A lot of brains.
My regular season MVP, I'm going to have to go. I'm a little bit of a homer.
Yeah, of course you're.
I'm going to have to go with Aaron Rodgers, and I think he's going to win it this year because I see a stretch of winning 6 out of the next 7 or maybe all 7. They're going to like 11, 12, 13 wins.
Oh.
And it's going to be driving them to the playoffs. His stats will be there to show it. Like, after the early struggle, people will be considering that they got screwed in Seattle.
Yeah,
just like sleepless in Seattle, except it was fucking
clueless
fucked in the ass. Yeah, that was what they call it, didn't it? Clueless in Seattle. But I honestly think I don't think he's the front runner right now, but I think he will win the MVP this season because his stats are ridiculous.
They're not as ridiculous as in the past.
They could take control of the division.
Yeah. No, they won't.
They can.
They're not going to.
I'm not saying the Bears aren't going to make the playoffs.
Bears are winning the division.
But you have to admit that if Aaron Rodgers wins, if the Packers win the division. And he wins, 6 out of the next 7.
No, because
he's got MVP.
This guy,
there's
this 36-year-old quarterback who, for 14 years, wore a horseshoe on his helmet. Who
I don't know why.
In March, I don't know why he did. He just got drafted number 1 overall. In March,
Aaron Rodgers should have been. No, he shouldn't have. Because that would have been horrible for me.
Yeah,
I want Alex Smith
get out of my room. I'm talking about Peyton now. Peyton Manning is my NFL MVP. The guy has won an award more than anyone else. The guy's like, in my opinion, honestly, the way he's playing right now, if he just does this for 3 or 4 more years, gets another Super Bowl or 2, he might end up being the greatest football player to ever play. Not just the greatest quarterback.
He could be. Well,
he is the greatest. He is the smartest football player to ever play the game.
I wanted, just the other day, I was looking up, like, who's the greatest football player ever? Because, in basketball, Michael Jordan, it's kind of easy.
Baseball, Babe Ruth.
Baseball, hockey, Wayne Gretzky.
Yes.
It's easy.
Tiger Woods, golf, maybe.
Tiger Woods, golf.
Pele, soccer, but
Muhammad Ali probably goes boxing. And I was just like, football, Joe Montana, who is it?
Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, Jim Brown.
I looked at a couple lists, and it seemed like the most consensus was that it was like Jerry Rice.
He's most dominant.
Number
ever.
1.
Yeah, I think he's most dominant ever.
I mean, but but even then, I don't even think he was number 1 on all the lists I looked at.
NFL,
Payton,
the NFL Network had him number 1. They had number 2 Jim Brown. They had Walter Payton 5th, which was stupid.
Actually, that's exactly the list I looked at. I don't even think it was from that. Maybe it was.
Peyton Manning was 8th on that list, though, and he can move up. Peyton Manning had a neck injury where he had 4 neck procedures, and that's scary to think about. It's your neck. Something that holds up your body. He could get paralyzed, gets hit again. Peyton Manning not only has gained his arm strength back, but his stats are amazing. He leads the league in pass rate, which may not be the best stat, but
he leads the league in pass rate. He leads by 0.8 over Aaron Rodgers, who's about to take that over.
But one thing you have to notice about Peyton Manning is he walked into Denver and automatically made everyone around him better.
Yeah, no. I've given him a bunch of credit. I mean, the guy, he's a really likable guy. I mean, he's just so good. Like, I really did not know how good he was going to be this year. I could have seen him, getting hurt.
A lot of people didn't think he was going to be that good. Honestly, it doesn't surprise me. Seeing what he does, it's like Peyton Manning's back. And Peyton Manning's back, and he's not going to fall down.
It's weird. I've almost forgotten how good he is.
He's so smart.
1 year off.
Everything he does is just incredible.
Everything
Peyton Manning, you look at guys like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, and watching those two guys play made me sound like John Madden, but watching those two guys play against each other earlier this year,
Rooted.
Both of them, just the way I'm praising.
Yeah.
It makes me. It's what I'm gonna miss in 5 years from now when those guys retire.
See,
honestly.
I actually thought about this. See, this is interesting. I kind of thought about I feel like it's kind of like Brady and Manning are around the same age. They're older, and they're kind of they were just the best. And Aaron Rodgers is I know you consider him one of the best.
Yeah, of course. But
I guess, but even Breeze is older. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have that rival that's gonna be there as long as he's gonna be there.
It's hard to say.
I'm wondering who could take that role.
That would be something we'll figure out in the future.
Quarterbacks around Aaron Rodgers' age right now.
I think Andrew Luck would be pretty good.
He's still a lot younger. He's going to be the age difference between him, Rodgers, and Breeze.
Honestly, I think naturally Eli is Aaron Rodgers' rival.
He's still a little bit old. I mean, I don't need exact age, but I guess so. But it's not. I want a rivalry to build and have some really excitement about a game where it's it's Aaron Rodgers versus Matt Ryan. I guess that's kind of what it is now. That's kind of boring though. I feel Like Matt Ryan, for some reason I doubt him, and I just don't think he's as good as Aaron Rodgers. I think he's pretty damn good, but I just don't think he's on that level.
No.
I don't think he's like...
I don't think many quarterbacks can get on the level of Peyton Manning just overall, and I choose him to be the MVP, but what he's done is incredible. What's our next segment?
I enjoyed our little talk there, though.
Yeah, it was nice.
I could have talked about it for a lot longer.
I didn't feel like... we can't do it, though. We got listeners. It's satisfying.
But who is Aaron Rodgers' like quote unquote rival?
Jay Cutler, because it's divisional.
Who's just like the Tom Brady Peyton Manning? Who is it for him? And who is it for Drew Brees? Is he in the Tom Brady battle, or is he with Aaron Rodgers?
Drew Brees. I think they're all by themselves. I think honestly Eli, it's actually Big Ben, but they don't play each other enough just because of the draft class, or Philip Rivers because they'll be forever attached.
I guess Joe Flacco and Matt Ryan could duel.
Oh, yeah. If they played in the Super Bowl, that'd be pretty big for that draft class. And I think Joe Flacco's team would win just because their team's better. With a healthy team, that is.
All right, yeah, I guess we'll move on, even though I enjoyed that way too much.
Okay. That's okay.
It's time to talk RG3 and Andrew Luck. Or, let's do this right now?
Yeah, let's do that.
Who is better for the rest of the season? And we'll even talk a little bit about career. Who's going to have the better career?
We're talking fantasy-wise, RG3 is the better quarterback right now, and it's because it's dynamic.
Fantasy-wise for the rest of the season, who do you think?
Probably RG3. I mean, it's just...
Okay.
Because the fact that he can run the ball, the fact that he has so many rushing yards, he's very...
Yeah, I agree.
He's more athletic in that sense, even though Andrew Luck's pretty good. Fantasy-wise, Andrew Luck's no slouch. However, RG3 I think is safer because of just the fact that he can... get more yards on a chunk of running, and he's more likely to take off. I'm not saying Andrew Luck's not athletic, because he is athletic. Andrew Luck's not going to take off as much as RG3, because RG3 is just going to expose himself, which in the long run favors Andrew Luck. And which is why we're going to talk in the long run, who I'd rather have as a quarterback, it's Andrew Luck. When you look at Andrew Luck play, I think Andrew Luck's going to be the best quarterback in football in a few years. Yeah, I do.
You know who's going to still be playing in a few years?
I don't care.
Aaron Rodgers.
Alex Smith?
Aaron Rodgers.
Flacco?
You think Andrew Luck will be considered better than Aaron Rodgers?
Do I think
before Aaron Rodgers is? This is like
I think the RG3 Andrew Luck debate's like the Mike Trout Bryce Harper debate. I mean, Bryce Harper and Andrew Luck go to bed together. They have cool beards.
They go to bed together?
No, they go together. Actually, I don't even know because it's hard to say. But Mike Trout is way more cooler. He's doing better so far.
So he's RG3.
Maybe, yeah, I guess. But I mean, like,
I think RG3 is way cooler than Andrew Luck. Way cooler. He's in more.
But I mean, like,
RG3 is marketable. He's awesome.
Mike Trout's like way ahead of the curve for his age, where Bryce Harper isn't. However, in the long run, Mike Trout's amazing. Bryce Harper's amazing too. I think everyone's saying that RG3 was the...
That's a good comparison.
Ryan Leaf. Yeah, because I mean, young players, Washington, D.C., RG3 would actually probably be Bryce Harper because it's Washington, D.C. Yeah, Andrew Luck, I don't know. Andrew Luck... Everyone who compared that thing to the 98 draft was stupid for saying, oh, the number 2 pick, man, I think RG3, he may end up being like Ryan Leaf. No, you're stupid. Ryan Leaf was stupid. Yeah, people were saying that,
RG3's a really smart guy.
And Ryan Leaf isn't.
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah, and Andrew Luck's a really smart guy, too.
You know what the funny thing is? I remember reading, because I mean, when this draft happened, I remember going back and reading like articles from like the, late 90s, how Ryan Leaf was the better option. Mel Kiper might have said, I don't know. Someone said, a renowned expert said Ryan Leaf was better because he had won big games, he had a bigger arm, he was more athletic.
For anybody who's not totally aware for some reason.
Yeah. And
it was Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf in 1998, right? 98.
Yes.
For the first 2 picks, and last year it was...
And Peyton Manning basically went in, and he says this on his America Game special for the 2006 Colts. Unfortunately, they beat the Bears. But that was good. It's a good special, though. Yeah, I guess. Peyton basically said to Bill Polian, he's like, listen, if you guys pick whoever, that's fine, but just know that I'm going to kick. If you don't pick me, I'll be kicking your ass for the next decade.
And he was so right.
And they picked him, and it worked out quite well.
Peyton Manning's literally like the best of all time, pretty much.
And Ryan Leaf is they're polar opposites. This draft class is not going to be polar opposites.
No,
one guy is not
going to have really good careers.
If both these guys are much better off, Ryan Leaf was not mature.
No.
Andrew Luck's incredibly mature. Andrew Luck comes from a very good background, the way Peyton Manning did. RG3 comes from a good background, too. I don't know Ryan Leaf's background, and I'm not going to always say backgrounds matter, because you shouldn't be shaped by who you come from, but sometimes you are, unfortunately. Peyton Manning came from an amazing family.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I still think Peyton... And some people don't like that. Some people don't like the fact that he came from an amazing family. But I look at Peyton Manning, it's like, well... He works his ass off. You got to respect that, because there's no silver spoon in his mouth. Nothing was handed to him, even though he was a number 1 overall pick. And Andrew Luck's the same way. Stanford grad. Okay, valedictorian in my high school. You know what? I'm still going to work. I'm still going to do hard work. I'm still going to work hard. Yeah. And Ryder Griffin III, same way. Andrew Luck, just to me, has more leadership. Only because... I just look at him, I'm like, wow. You know, I look at Andrew Luck, I'm like, that's a quarterback. I look at Robert Griffin III, I'm like, that's an athlete.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point, but I think you shouldn't see him as an athlete. I think that's just the extra thing he's got. I feel like he's still that, like, he's so much better of a passer than, like, Cam Newton, Michael Vick, anybody else that's just an athlete kind of guy.
Arm-wise, Michael Vick has a cannon. Cam Newton's not, like, the jump passer.
RG3 can fire it, and he's a hell of a lot better of a passer. I think already he's a better passer than Michael Vick. He doesn't make mistakes.
More accurate, yeah.
He's really accurate. He's not even really run first. He kind of looks to pass first, and then, you know, when he does get the opportunity to run, it's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. That 76-yard touchdown. I mean, that's why I feel like he's just, excuse me, such like a valuable asset or player to have. I mean,
consensus is you go RG3, I'll go Luck.
Yeah.
And in 10 years from now, we can talk about this, because that's what we decided.
I mean, no other quarterback in the league can run for a 76-yard touchdown. Maybe Michael Vick and whatnot.
Vick in his prime could, but no.
Probably not even anymore. It's like you're not going to see fucking Jay Cutler just take off and just like juke everybody and outrun everybody.
No, but Jay Cutler's mobile.
No, he is mobile, but I mean, that's what I mean. Like, he's even
and Andrew Luck's mobile,
no,
too.
It's impossible. RG3 is literally faster than most players on defense.
Yeah, he is.
He is. He ran like a 4.3 or like 4.4. I don't know.
He's fast as hell. He's a very fast guy.
He's a track star and a quarterback, which is it's not too common.
No. What's our next segment?
I believe it is time to go to our little over-unders. Oh, fuck. I wanted to make one more. I'll make one up really fast. Give me a quarterback, and I'm going to give a number.
Tom Brady.
All right, that'll be our second one. All right, so we've got our over/under, better start, then we got our pick'em.
Okay, and then we we're burying your fantasy teams tonight.
Oh yeah, then we got.
And I'm gonna have to see your roster so I can go over.
Yeah, we'll be looking at my roster. You'll see. That's gonna be one of the best parts of the show.
Okay.
I'm sorry we waited this long, and we've got a retarded thing at the end.
We do, but it's gonna be a good Bob Costas
we've got Bob Costas in the house tonight. I mean, he's coming in for a quick comment.
Excuse me.
Bob, shut up. You'll be on later. It's okay.
In 1921, Babe Ruth had an amazing season.
Bob, we've got to do our over/under and
might have been actually Babe Ruth's best season according to Saber Magicians.
Bob.
Okay, sorry.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, Bob's an asshole. Sorry, we got our over/under.
Okay.
Here we go. Sheboygan, 17 points for RG3 versus Philadelphia.
I'll actually go over.
Ah, man, I don't like picking the same thing as you. I try to set it up a little bit, so I'll pick... I don't really try to set that up. I just feel like it's... I try to set up on the border where it's like you could easily pick against me, but...
He'll get like 20.
I think I'll go over it, too. I think RG3's a beast. Fantasy-wise.
I think Philly sucks.
Yeah.
And fantasy-wise,
RG3 have 50 yards rushing, a rushing touchdown, 200 yards passing, and a passing touchdown. That's probably over 17 points. All right. And since I had 17 for RG3, I made it 20, or let's make it 19.5 for Brady, just so it's kind of got that.
I'll go over.
They're playing the Colts.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I'm gonna go under. I think he'll have about I think he'll score like 18, 19, but I just don't think it's gonna be over 20 or over. It's gonna be a good week.
350 yards, 4 TDs.
If you're benching Brady, you're a dick, man.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
9.5 points for Felix Jones versus the Browns.
I'll go under.
It's pretty much if he's going to score a touchdown. Because Felix Jones is not going to get 100 yards, or I'm not going to bet on that.
No, I won't either.
I'm going to go over. I think he's going to have a touchdown. That's where I feel like that goes. You're going under on that, though?
Yeah.
Right? All right, 80 total yards for Ryan Matthews at Denver. I already know where I'm at. What do you
Under.
I'm going over.
Okay.
Just because he's in the passing game.
Yeah.
I think he'll get there. I think he'll get there.
You probably win that, but who knows? I'll go under. I'll stick to my guns.
8.5 points for Larry Fitzgerald at Atlanta. Over, under.
Over by a little. Not a lot. Depends on the type of league.
I'm going under. I'm going like 80 yards. No touchdown.
I think he might get a TD. Why not? Throw it to Larry, please. He's good.
Yeah, he's
really good.
He needs a better quarterback.
He needs a better quarterback.
He's already gotten his way to the Hall of Fame, but he could be like the greatest if he had somebody.
Okay, I won't go that far.
Well, whoa.
He's pretty good.
He could be like right behind Jerry Rice.
Right behind Randy Moss.
Yeah, Randy Moss. Randy Moss is really great.
Not anymore.
90 total yards for Randall Cobb at Detroit.
How should go on? Oh, wait. What total is in what?
Not including kick returns.
Okay, then
rushing and receiving.
Like
I'm going to go
75.
over because I think he'll have like one of those little rushes for 15 yards, and I think he'll just be a big part of this game. And I think this is a game where Aaron Rodgers throws for like 400 yards. I think it's that.
He might need to.
Yeah.
Stafford's definitely going to need to throw for a lot of yards.
They
run the ball like 7 times a game.
So we've actually went opposite
Don't
sides.
start Detroit
next
running backs either. Detroit Lion running backs. You're an idiot if you start those.
Do you think the Packers have a good running defense?
No, I think the Lions have bad running backs.
McCullough Shore's all right.
No, I don't think so.
All right, 50 yards for Greg Olsen versus Tampa Bay.
Over. Like 65, 70. You know, Greg Olsen's good. I want him back.
I like that we're not picking the same thing, and
Greg, I don't know if you're a free agent after this year, but I really wish we didn't get rid of you. I'm sorry that Mike Martz is a douche.
Yeah, he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah, what an idiot.
But I'll just go under. I'm going to go under because
Greg Olsen's the man. I like Greg Olsen a lot. I got his autograph.
Nice. I'm going under, so we kind of have that. We've pretty much picked against each other most of them.
Greg.
And I think that 50 yards, I could see him getting 40, 30, 20. I could just see him not being part of the game for whatever reason.
Sits on the bench.
Yeah. Better start. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's Luck at New England or RG3 at Philadelphia.
I'll let you RG3 again.
I'll go RG3.
Yeah.
So we've got the same. Cam versus Tampa Bay, and or Romo versus Cleveland.
Well, definitely Romo. I think if I'm wrong in that, you can shoot me because I think Romo's gonna have a big week.
What am I gonna do here? I'm gonna go Cam.
Okay.
I'm going Cam because I just think he's gonna have a good week, and Romo weirdly chokes whenever he just does it. He just starts be bad. Carson Palmer versus New Orleans or Josh Freeman at Carolina?
I'll go Carson Palmer.
I agree. I think Carson Palmer racks up the fantasy points just because he throws so much. And they'll probably be down against New Orleans. Willis McGahee at home against San Diego or Steven Jackson at home against the Jets?
Actually, I'll go S-Jack this week.
Yeah. I'm gonna go McGahee.
Okay.
I thought about it, but
yeah, it's.
I'll go McGahee. I think it's close.
Yeah.
LaRod Stevens Howling at Atlanta or Donald Brown at New England.
Shit.
It's where you're picking between your bad players.
Yeah.
It's not,
yeah. Okay, I'll go with Donald Brown.
I agree. I don't really know how solid Stevens Howling is as their starter even.
Okay.
Jordy or Randall Cobb, Detroit, if they're both playing.
Who are you going with?
Go with Randall Cobb.
I'm going with Jordy.
All right. And Jermaine Gresham or Brandon Pettigrew?
Pettigrew.
Shit. Who's Cincinnati playing again?
Kansas City.
I'm going to go with Gresham then.
Okay.
All right, so we've actually picked against each other a lot there. That's a little rare.
I think that was good. So we're going to pick 'em.
Pick them now, and then we're going to do our special segment of the week.
Yes.
Kind of type deal.
Yes.
I got a Facebook notification. Wow.
What?
Mary Bailey likes our podcast. Thank you.
Second time she's been mentioned in this show. All right, pick 'em. Let's go.
Pigs can pick them.
By the way, I think I picked the Bills.
Let me pull that schedule up. I'm currently looking at something stupid.
Green Bay and Detroit.
Okay, no, I'm kidding. What?
Green Bay Detroit's a game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the first game on this list.
Oh.
You always predict the fucking list, man.
I'm good at the list, man.
Well, for me,
that's
Green
by the
Bay
way,
moves
the
to
game,
the top,
local Chicago games, I believe, will be. Actually, if you want,
Green Bay Detroit's on TV, right? Because I'll shoot
it
myself if it's on. I'll be sad. Are you gonna check the games real quick?
You have your remote.
Yeah.
We are looking for the remote. We are gonna check the games that are on the Chicago affiliate. We will go and check. But first, sponsor time.
Yeehaw! Hello everybody, I'd like to take a moment of your time and introduce my new Buffalo Ranch Jerky. It comes straight from the home. I tell you, I use 100% natural ingredients. Thank you for your time.
Alright, the local games will be on at noon on Fox. Green Bay at Detroit. That'll be one. We'll pick that one. Also, Cleveland at Dallas. That's on CBS and Chicago affiliate. For Comcast, at least. I don't know. It could be someone else differently. I don't think it will be, though. But, and then 3:25 CBS Indianapolis at New England. An old rival with a new twist because it's Andrew Luck's face. But it's actually a really good game. First game, Green Bay Detroit.
Green Bay Detroit. I'm definitely taking the Packers. I think they're gonna blow them out. No, I don't.
All right, I hate Detroit. I really do, and I know they're gonna let me down. But I'm picking them.
Whoa!
Bears need all the help they can get. Upset special. Detroit Lions beat the Packers.
I think this.
A lot of injuries on Green Bay's side.
I think it's gonna be a nice 35-21.
What's the next one? Lions one.
Arizona at Atlanta.
I'll go with the Falcons.
Yeah, I will.
No, nothing really to talk about that game.
Cleveland at Dallas.
Dallas
as well. Cincinnati at Kansas City.
Bengals. I mean, I was like thinking maybe I'd go upset, but no.
Should I? Oh, man, I hate picking the same shit as you. Bengals. Philly at Washington.
Once again, we're going to pick the same shit, but it's almost the point where it's like I can't pick the Eagles. I can't trust them anymore. I'm going Redskins.
Yeah, I am too. Tampa at Carolina.
I'll go with the Panthers.
All right, I'll take the Bucks.
All right.
Jacksonville at Houston.
Okay. You know
Houston.
Yeah. Terrible game. I hope no one's watching that.
Jets at St. Louis.
Man, I don't even know if I've picked this one yet. Who are you going with?
St. Louis.
The Rams. They're at home. Why not?
Yeah. New Orleans at Oakland.
I will go with the Saints.
Me too.
Okay.
Damn it. San Diego at Denver.
Broncos.
I'm taking my upset special.
Oh, you're upset Chargers? Okay.
Because
no one trusts the Chargers. I don't trust them.
I mean, don't take my word for it, but it's upset special. Indianapolis at New England.
I'm going with the Pats.
Yeah, me too. Baltimore at Pittsburgh.
Who are you going with? You know, I initially had a team that I switched because of the quarterback.
Pittsburgh.
You know, and that's the reason why I switched, because no Big Ben.
Oh, fuck.
I'm going Baltimore.
I don't care. Fuck Joe Flacco.
Okay.
It's Pittsburgh.
All right, that's fine.
I'm like Skip
I was thinking that, but I was like, Byron Leftwich? No, thank you. I'm going Baltimore Ravens. And then the Monday night game.
Chicago at San Francisco.
You know,
I will be taking San Francisco, no doubt.
Yeah.
Regardless of quarterbacks.
With quarterbacks, you know, I'm not even going to look at it. I'm looking at it right now. If the game was going to be played in 5 minutes and I had to pick, I'm going with the Niners. I don't trust the Bears this week.
I didn't know if you were, I mean, I don't know.
Don't worry. Next week against the Vikings and then against the Seahawks, even though the Seahawks scare me somehow. The next game I will be picking the Bears. You have my word for it.
All right. We've got 2 things left to
We got a eulogy.
Yes.
Let me see your fantasy roster first.
I kind of want to see it at the same time as you for the draft.
No, you really don't, because it's more funny when I'm producing it. This year we have a man who dedicates his whole life to fantasy football. He doesn't have a job. He doesn't have.
I do a lot of things, man.
No,
which team do you want to see first, or which team do you want to see?
I want to see the team in my league first.
Okay, we'll start.
His league as well.
It's our league.
It is a
I've currently got a trade offer. Send Robert Griffin III for Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, and Jason Witten.
No.
But I don't really need him, so maybe I will. I'm thinking about it. I don't need RG3. I got Aaron Rodgers.
And we will bury it week by week.
Do you have something prepared, or?
Oh, no. This is all improvised. I look at this team, and I look at Aaron Rodgers,
We're going position
AJ
by
Green.
position.
Those are two of the best fantasy players, but sorry, you do not make up for Sean Green being in the starting lineup.
Hey, it's
You
a
do not
bye
make up
week.
for
He's in there for a bye, okay?
Sebastian Janikowski, who's been alright. Dwayne Bowe, though, week by week, this guy was an early round pick. 6 points, 5 points, 6 points. Before his bye week, 2 points. Before that, 6 points. Marshawn Lynch, you were on a bye, but he also has Ben Tate on his roster. Ben Tate,
I'm waiting
I
for
thought he
Foster to
died.
get hurt.
I thought Ben Tate died. We will bury this 3-7 team, as this man is currently behind in the standings.
Hey, I think if I win out,
He
and a
is
lot of people
behind
lose,
teams that consist of a man who has a 20-hour-a-week job and goes to school full-time, a man who has a longer than a 25-hour-a-week job and goes to school full-time, a man who works full-time, a full-time student at a university, another full-time student at a university. He is behind every team except for 2 teams who don't even pay attention to their rosters.
Okay.
We will bury
think you
this
went
team.
a little far.
We will bury this team, and we will cremate its ashes. Because this man, who the only 5 loves in his life consist of Keystone Light Beer, Marlboro Smooth cigarettes, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, Kurt Cobain and Nirvana,
You're doing good.
flannel T-shirts,
Oh, well, okay. I don't know how much I love
not
that.
washing his hair,
That's not something I love.
goatees,
I think you need to get to the last thing.
and fantasy football. We will bury his other team as I look at all the teams that he has, and he did 10 drafts this year. But the swag daddies we will bury. The 3-7 swag daddies.
They swagged it up too.
Who he drafted Fred Jackson in like the 4th round and was like, yo, dude, Fred Jackson's a beast, dude.
I did.
Fred Jackson
I did
week
say
by
that.
week. 1.5 points, 0 points, 0 points, 9.5 points, 5 points. He had a couple good games. His last game was good. But when you have a week where you give 6 carries, 6 attempts, and 15 yards, and he probably started that week, bad. Steve Johnson, bad. For some reason, this man has a love affair for the Buffalo Bills.
I say goodbye to my Buffalo Bills players as you've treated me well.
But not well enough as your receiving corps is garbage, ranked 21st and 32nd. Dwayne Bowe, you don't cut it.
Dwayne Bowe.
Jordy Nelson, your injuries have deflated his team. D'Angelo Williams was drafted, and that was a terrible draft pick. Because D'Angelo Williams is indeed terrible. We will spread his ashes the way he spread cigarette ashes onto a plate on his guitar when he's sleeping. We will spread the ashes of this fantasy team throughout the mobile gas station where he goes to buy his cigarettes. And we will spread his ashes inside his dad's old minivan that he was given as a gift. Let us bury this team with one last word. That just because you're behind in this league, behind everyone but 2 teams who don't know, who consist of one girlfriend who doesn't know anything about football, and then one fucking piece of shit person. His team, just remember, just because you care a lot about fantasy football does not mean you will be good.
Doesn't mean you will always succeed. But I would like to say that last year...
We will not look back at last year. This is this year.
Last year, I was fortunate enough to win the league, and I took down a certain person in the championship game, led by Matt Flynn.
Yes. It was a rough day. It was a rough week.
It was.
It was a rough week getting 38 points against Matt Flynn. I still hate
the
you,
exact
Detroit.
number?
I think it was 38 points.
You still remember.
I do.
You still remember.
But let us bury this team. The Grim Reaper style, the way they did on the NFL Network a few weeks ago. Did you see that? It was pretty funny.
Did they?
They like buried teams. Like, let us bury the Chiefs and the Vikings. And then Kurt Warner got all sadistic.
They
It was
buried
kind of
the
weird.
Vikings?
Yes. But I'm looking at the standings in this league, and there's 2 teams that are just way better. And I'm just looking at the depth of these teams. And let me just read these teams. We're gonna name this team Victor Cruz, Reggie Wayne combination. This team consists of guys like Arian Foster ranked 3rd, Doug Martin ranked 2nd, Jason Witten ranked 4th, Reggie Wayne ranked 4th, Julio Jones ranked 13th, Texans defense ranked 2nd, Victor Cruz ranked 3rd. This dude's got fucking Victor Cruz on his bench because he's on a bye. He's a 3rd-ranked receiver, 4th-ranked receiver, 13th-ranked receiver. He also has a 7th-ranked defense along with 2nd-ranked defense. And then another team ran by another fellow. We are just going to show the lack of parity in this league. We will call this team Team Poonie-C. Team Poonie-C has Tom Brady, 4th-ranked. C.J. Spiller, 9th-ranked. He's got Adrian Peterson, 1st-ranked. Marshawn 5th-ranked. Marshawn Lynch, 5th-ranked, A.J. Green, 1st-ranked. Tony Gonzalez, 1st-ranked. 5th-ranked Keith Miller. 7th-ranked kicker. We don't care about that. That's a lot of good ranked players. And Larry Fitzgerald. We didn't mention because he's 19th-ranked, but he's still really good. Talk about loaded teams. Now we're going to look at, let's just say, Team Fuck You. Team Fuck You is so bad that, have you ever heard of Jeremy Curley? He's in the starting lineup. Sean Drone is on this team. Major Wright is in the starting lineup. Darren Sproles is the #1 running back. Demarius Moore, who's not as good in this league, is ranked 26th. Is the #1 wide receiver. Andre Johnson sucks. I give it that. 28th ranked defense. 27th ranked kicker. He's got... His quarterback is Andrew Luck, who's been I-8. But he's got Mike Wallace on the bench. And then we will look at Team Girlfriend Team. This is the week where we're just... I don't even know what the name of this person's team is. It's not really good. But the team that we mentioned earlier. Why did you have Wes Welker on the bench over...
Earl Bennett.
Yeah, Earl Bennett starting over Wes Welker. Why do you still have Brandon Jacobs? Looking at Brandon Jacobs' weekly stats, oh man, has he even played this year? Has he even touched the field?
Is he I don't know how he's still on the team.
The lack of parity in this league makes me sick. However, I'm in 3rd place. My teams are not buried yet. I'm still alive. So, thank you to those 2 teams who suck. And those 2 teams who are really good, I'm coming for you.
And we hope that one day we can bury another team on the podcast.
We will bury multiple teams. We may bury my team. Who knows?
That's what I'm hoping for.
We may bury him. But lastly, we're gonna hit have a word from our sponsor, and then we're gonna do our one last final 5-minute segment.
Bobcast, this is here.
Not official Bobcast. I'll just be doing my final word on one Tim Tebow.
Okay, fine.
We'll be back. Welcome back. For the next few minutes, I'm gonna talk about one player who's been all over the media, for the last 18 months or so. I don't know. Ever since last year when he was on the Denver Broncos, leading them down the field in these miraculous victories. A lot of them were because of defenses of the other team. Dumbass running backs running out of bounds. Miraculous comebacks. Tim Tebow is a very polarizing figure. Tim Tebow was brought into the most polarizing city in the world, playing on a polarizing franchise that hasn't had any success since the days that Joe Namath was shagging women on his bed that had the mirror above there. Joe Namath can't do that anymore because he's almost 70. Tim Tebow is a polarizing figure in many more ways than just his religion. He was maybe the greatest college football player of all time. What he did at Florida was amazing. All-American a couple times, 2 national titles. His freshman year, he was a part of the offense on certain plays, but he was so much more impactful off the field. Everyone talked about him. No one talked about Chris Leak, the starter. They won the national title. Next year, Tim Tebow, sophomore year, I'm going to start. What do I do as a 20-year-old sophomore? I win the Heisman. Junior year, you know what I do? I win the national title. 2 national titles, 3 years. And, he goes in his 4th year. They don't win the national title. He gets a Sugar Bowl win, he had that famous rant at some point in his college career. I will never let you down again, all that. And he didn't. They didn't lose the rest of that season. The guy's a hell of a leader. He's a very powerful figure. Seems very friendly. But like Jesus Christ, the person may not be bad, but the followers are a nightmare. Like Christianity, you have some really dumbass followers. And like Tim Tebow, you have Skip Baylesses who rant and rave about how great the guy is. He shouldn't have been drafted in the 1st round, and he overcame that, and he ended up having, a nice little run last year. And They went off and they got the big fish in Peyton Manning, and they got rid of Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow went to New York, the worst place in the world for him to go. It was just so annoying. Every day I turn on ESPN First Take, and even when they did a Tebow free day, they still mentioned 230 times. I mean, you're in the prime of baseball season. You could be talking about LeBron choking. You could be talking about, other things in July. I understand it's maybe dead, but Jesus, maybe talk about, like, I don't know, something relevant, like golf or baseball or something. Don't be talking about Tim Tebow. They go to Jets camp. It's just disgusting. The ESPN coverage of Tim Tebow is sickening. Well, if you look at the statistics this year, I think Tim Tebow has something like 132 total yards. He has something like 92 yards passing maybe and 40 yards rushing, or it's the other way around. Either way, he does not have much. He's maybe in on 4-5 offensive plays a game. The Jets brought him in as a competition thing for Mark Sanchez, and Mark Sanchez has not responded. When you look at Mark Sanchez's statistics, they are still below average. He completes barely over 50% of his passes. Tebow, when he was in Denver, didn't even complete 50% of his passes. His touchdown-interception ratio is like 1-to-1. His career touchdown-interception ratio is not even that. Tim Tebow, maybe some of his throws are so bad that they can't even intercept it. Now, this week, some news came out that a defensive player called Tim Tebow terrible. What makes me laugh about that is that Tim Tebow may be terrible, but you guys are pretty terrible as a team. You're a joke of a franchise. Your owner wants to make you guys a celebrity. Your coach, even though I think he's a good coach, he runs his mouth way too much. He makes way too many false guarantees. Your quarterback is a bitch. He sucks. You don't have a running game. Your best player is out the rest of the year. Blew his knee out. Your defense as a whole is not very good. And worst of all, you play in New York City where everything is overblown. You make all the back pages. You win the offseason, the tabloid Super Bowl. But then the team that plays in the same stadium as you has won 2 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. They keep their mouths shut. When they talk when they need to. They back everything up. They may struggle at times, but there's a reason why they've won 2 Super Bowls, and that is they are a good franchise with a respectable owner, a Hall of Fame coach, and a great quarterback who, unlike Mark Sanchez, he did go through some adversity. But there's a difference. Eli Manning is a Manning brother, and those guys do not fail. Mark Sanchez is a USC quarterback, and those guys do. Tim Tebow needs to be starting for New York Jets. I know it's not the popular thing to say, but just the fact of the matter is, your record sucks. You want attention. You have to see how you brought this guy in as competition. You have to realize that Mark Sanchez is not making your team better. Why not try Tim Tebow? What's the worst that's going to happen? He shows the world that he wasn't all that the way Skip Bayless makes him out to be. Well, no shit. I think we're not Skip Bayless. I mean, Skip Bayless is obnoxious. He's a troll. What he says about Tim Tebow is sickening, and it's hilarious at the same time. ESPN's love for Tim Tebow is obnoxious as well. They don't talk about him much because he doesn't have anything to be talked about. But the man is a football player. And if you can use him, use him. In my opinion, you might as well use him at quarterback. It comes a point where you're going to go into that you're going to be going 3-7 or something like that, ridiculous, after your 10th game. If you lose this week, which you could. I mean, you're playing the Rams at home. Rams aren't great, but you still could lose. You go in there and you're 3-7, and you have a short week, and Sanchez has a terrible game where he completes 45% of his passes, has a 15 bad throws. I was going to say a 15 passer rating, but more like a 50 passer rating. And throws an interception or two, maybe as a fumble, and you lose by 10 points. Why not try Tim Tebow? Why not just let him be your leader? Mark Sanchez is not a leader. For your next 6 games, you're going to go into New England. You're going to get you're going to go into that New England game at home on Thanksgiving in New York City, and you're going to get your ass kicked by Tom Brady and your rival, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, who somehow Mark Sanchez actually plays well against. I don't know what it is. He sometimes seems to have good games against them. He's beat him in the playoffs. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe they look at Mark Sanchez and they're like, man, this guy's won. Well, Tim Tebow, I hate to say it, but man, he's proven that he can win some games. He's not going to be the most important reason, but when you're 3-7, you're going into a team, you're facing New England, who's just way better than you. You might as well do it. You might as well say screw it. we need to see what Tim Tebow can do for the next 6 games. I'm not saying he'll be a franchise quarterback, but I don't think the New York Jets should tank a season because the way their organization is ran, they're probably fucked either way. I'm just saying for the pure ratings standpoint, you guys want to be a circus, just fucking bring in the elephant. Bring in the elephant, bring in the clowns, put in Tim Tebow. Next week we'll be doing our podcast, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. There's 3 big games. Thanksgiving. It's the middle of November, you know. Got Thanksgiving coming up. Excited for that.
What are the games?
The games will be Houston at Detroit, Washington at Dallas, which I think will be a good game, and then the Jets will host the Patriots at night on NBC. There's 3 games. They're all worth watching. You know, there's good players, good fantasy players in those games. You got an Arian Foster, you got a Calvin Johnson, the first one. You got an RG3, you got a Romo, and then you got a Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski and guys like that. But I appreciate everyone listening. I'm going to sign out. This is the Sherman and Wilbourn podcast, Week 11 edition. Hope you guys enjoyed. Good night.
Flaps chocolate stones, hand melted from Malaysia, distilled 18 times for chocolate necessity. It will never melt unless you want it to. Choco stones.